Last episode, we guarded the doors. This time, we protect the data itself, so even a stolen copy is useless. First, why encryption matters, then in transit versus at rest, then KMS, the key service, and the toolkit around it. So why encrypt it all? Encryption scrambles readable data into ciphertext, a form that looks like nonsense. Only the matching key can turn it back. So if someone copies an encrypted file without the key, they get gibberish, not your data. That is the headline benefit. Your information stays protected even when the storage, the network, or a backup is exposed. Encryption applies in two places, and the exam loves this split. In transit means data on the move, flowing across networks between you and AWS, protected by TLS, the same technology behind the padlock in your browser. Think of loading a web page over HTTPS. At rest means data sitting still, saved on a disk or in a bucket, encrypted right there in storage, like a file in S3 or a database on its volume. The rule is simple: protect data both while it moves and while it sits. Here is the flow, start to finish. You begin with plain text, your readable data. AWS encrypts it using a key from KMS, turning it into ciphertext. That ciphertext is what actually gets stored or sent. Later, anyone with permission to use that key can decrypt it back to plaintext. No key, no access, and the data and the key travel separate paths. The key service itself is KMS, Key Management Service. It creates and stores your encryption keys and can rotate them automatically on a schedule. Most AWS services plug straight into it, so encrypting a bucket is often just a checkbox. And because it ties into IAM, you decide who can use each key. Control the key, and you control the data. In practice, you rarely touch encryption by hand. New S3 buckets are encrypted at rest by default. For a disk volume or a database, it is usually one setting at creation. And AWS does the heavy cryptography for you, handling the keys behind the scenes. So encryption at rest is almost free to turn on, and the exam calls it a headline cloud benefit. A few related services round this out. KMS handles keys in shared AWS-managed hardware, the default choice. Need your own dedicated hardware? Cloud HSM gives you a single tenant module, and Secrets Manager handles credentials, database passwords, and API keys, storing them safely and rotating them for you. Two more names to know: ACM, Certificate Manager, issues and renews free TLS certificates. Macie is different. It scans S3 and flags sensitive data, like personal information. One enables encryption in transit, the other finds what needs protecting. On the exam, match the need to the service. Encrypting data at rest, that is KMS. A TLS certificate for your website, ACM. Scanning storage for personal data, Macie. And rotating a database password automatically, Secrets Manager. Match the queue to the tool, and these are quick points. Let's lock it in. Encryption turns your data into ciphertext, useless to anyone without the key. Protected in transit and at rest both matter. KMS is the key service. It creates, rotates, and controls access to your keys. And around it sit ACM for certificates, Macie for finding sensitive data, and Secrets Manager for credentials. Next episode: governance, auditing, and compliance. We'll see how Artifact proves compliance, how CloudTrail records every action in your account, and how config tracks changes to your resources. That's who did what and when. Thanks for watching, and see you there.